In 2009, Emmett Jordan became the first African American member of the Greenbelt City Council. He served 2 terms on the council before being elected the city's mayor in 2012. He was born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio, to a family of educators and community activists. His father was a professor at the University of Cincinnati, and his mother was an administrator. The younger of 2 boys, his childhood was normal and happy, filled with fond memories of his parents' active involvement in church and on a variety of community boards and volunteer programs. As the future would eventually reveal, this would prove to be priceless in preparing him for the work that he does today as a community leader in his own right. Emmett became very interested in music and excelled all through high school, and was eventually awarded a scholarship to study music at Morehouse College in Atlanta. In addition to taking liberal arts courses such as psychology and sociology, he mastered playing the saxophone and flute. The background music to this piece is an actual recording of Emmett playing his acoustic guitar during the 2013 Greenbelt Watch Night service that was hosted by Councilmember Conrad Hurling. He even played professionally for several years with the Uptown All-Stars Band in the 80s before transferring to the University of Cincinnati in order to be closer to his family. Incidentally, while a student at the University of Cincinnati, Emmett interned at the mayor's office to complete additional college credits. Not long after that, he graduated with a bachelor's degree in urban planning. His first job after college was with the American Red Cross in Cincinnati. He later moved to New Jersey in 1993 to take a position with a consulting firm that worked with large nonprofits, and after that, with the United Negro College Fund. Later, the University of Maryland College Park relocated him to Prince George's County, where he worked with the Library School on capital campaigns and eventually as an external relations and fundraising liaison for the Alumni Association. Like many people do when they discover the cultural richness, beauty, and vibrancy of Greenbelt, Emmett felt at home and has been an active resident ever since. Today, he serves on several community boards, clubs, and programs that keep the great city of Greenbelt vibrant. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so honored to present you our special guest this afternoon, Mayor Emmett Jordan. Mayor Jordan is actually the first African American on the Greenbelt City Council in its 77-year history and now serves as the city's mayor. He is the people's mayor. He's so involved in volunteerism, community work, and I've seen him in and around the community over the past 10, 15 years, just greeting people and serving and supporting. It's an honor to have you on today, sir.
Thanks so much for the invitation. I really appreciate your giving me a call and actually following up with me to go ahead and do this, because yeah, I haven't really done too many interviews like this. It's a little unusual.
Really?
Well, yeah. When I first came on city council, when I won the election seat in 2009, I did get an invitation to go down and talk with on Channel 8. The news talk program.
Right, because it's such a historic win.
Right. So that was exciting. But you know, and the city council meetings are broadcast every Monday, and when we have work sessions in council chambers, they're broadcast. But somehow I'm really not looking at the cameras. I'm trying to focus in on the issues.
Getting the work done, right?
Yeah, and keeping working with the rest of city council, and so I still get nervous.
Well, so do I, and I am still nervous. I hope I don't look it, because it's such an honor to have you on. And I know that you're originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. How did you find your way to Prince George's County, Maryland?
Well, it's a little bit of a long story, but not that long. I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. My dad was a teacher, taught at public high school for many years, and went on to become a professor in the University of Cincinnati. My mom was an administrator in Cincinnati, Ohio. I have an older brother, and I grew up there. Studied music for a while in college, but ended up finishing up with a degree in urban studies, urban planning. When I was studying music, I was studying liberal arts. So while I was taking music history and composition, I was also taking electives in sociology and political science and economics.
Oh, wow.
I was able to kind of move those credits over. And it's really, really difficult, a hard life trying to be a musician. And it really didn't suit me that well. So I actually came and I moved to Maryland in 1998. The university relocated me here. And I was working with the library school, helping them do a capital campaign. I did some work with the College of Health and Human Performance.
Oh, because your Bachelor of Science is in Urban Planning and Administration.
That's right. That's right.
Wow. Okay.
And I did some work with corporate and foundation relations grant writing.
Okay.
So it just felt really comfortable. Now, when I first moved here, I did not move to Greenbelt immediately. I ended up in University Park for about 2 years. But through the campus housing service for faculty and staff, they had some suggestions. And the first place that I looked for was actually on Mandan Road in Greenbelt. And I got lost.
I used to live there
Yeah,
too.
did you? Well, I was driving up and down
Yeah,
Hanover Parkway, Mandan Road,
I know
and
exactly
Greenbelt
where
Road.
that is, yeah.
And I was thinking, this looks really beautiful. It reminded me of Cincinnati a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I didn't find the place that I was looking for. I moved to University Park for 2 years. But this very place where I got lost was where I ended up moving. I live over in Greenbrier by the high school.
It's so easy to fall in love with the community. It's so organized. Have you noticed that?
Well, yeah,
Of course
it
you
is.
have.
It's so easy to get involved in. Once
Yes,
you
it
get
is.
involved, once people find out that you're interested in getting involved, there's just tons and tons of things to do.
Yeah, so do you feel like you're home here?
Yeah, very
Since
much
you've
so.
been here?
Very
Yeah,
much so.
me too.
Yeah, I love it here, and it reminds me in some ways of Cincinnati, where I grew up, because you get this real feeling of community. But at the same time, when I lived in New York, I was sort of spoiled with all the cultural amenities. I love jazz. I love to go to museums and concerts. So you can find everything right here in the Washington, D.C. area. And in Greenbelt in particular, there's this real sense of community and involvement, and that just clicked with me.
So, Mayor Jordan, tell me, so what are some of the responsibilities of a council member or a mayor? What do you do?
Well, I mean, there are a few things, there are a few basic responsibilities. One is just being close to the people. So constituent services, if someone calls me or sends me an email and they have a problem, I'm the liaison between, citizens and the city staff. So that constituent services are trying to take care of people that have problems. That's a really, really important part about being a council person. There's the legislative part, where we set the budget and set policy for the city, the things that we do in council meetings and the work sessions, working with the stakeholders. That's another important function. But I think the external relationships that we build are really, really important. So above and beyond serving on city council, I am active. I serve on the board of the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments right now, and I chair a committee. I chair the Region Forward Coalition, which is focused on economic and community development, quality of life, livability. It's an interesting group of elected officials, and we talk about different issues and try and set plans and think about the future. I'm also active with the Maryland Municipal League, which is a group of elected officials from throughout the state, and I'm currently the president of the Prince George's County Municipal Association. And there are 27 municipalities like Greenbelt throughout the county, and we have monthly meetings. And as president, I've been on the board for 4 years now, and as president, I kind of set up the programs, and we move around to the different municipalities and share ideas about what other city councils are doing, and just kind of act on behalf of municipalities in general. I work with the county. I have a strong relationship with our county council person, Todd Turner, and I think one of the things that I've tried to do is to establish or build good, better relationships with the county, because we are part of Prince George's County, even though we're so independent in so many ways. There's a Greenbelt way of doing things, and that's a good thing.
It is a wonderful thing.
But at the same time, we're part of Prince George's County,
That's
so
right.
we need to have a good relationship with the county council, so when they make decisions, they actually reflect our values as well, and that's something that I've worked on quite a bit. And also with the business community, I see myself as trying to just maintain good relationships. And, companies are constantly moving in into Greenbelt, moving in and moving out, and they're making these choices about where they want to be located. We've got a great location, there are restaurants and things to do, and this is just a great place to be.
Yeah. Well, tell me, Mayor Jordan, what are you passionate about? What are your top initiatives that you're working on?
Well, I'm really kind of concerned and have been working very, very hard to do a little bit more with community development and economic development in Greenbelt. We have benefited so much over time from our location. I mean, we've got this great location. We're right on the Beltway. We're on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway. We're on Route 95. We've got NASA Goddard right next to us and the University of Maryland within arm's reach. So the city is in Doctors Hospital is right down the road. So we've never really had to do a whole lot to maintain a strong, diversified tax base. We have banks here. We have a lot of allied health professionals. We have a lot of professionals, accountants and lawyers, and we've got a lot of great office space. But I'll tell you, the office vacancy rate is higher than in most of the other parts of the county. And it's a little bit of a mystery because we've got this great location and great office space. So I've been working with the city manager and council to try and do more with economic development, to actually be proactive and be a little bit more intentional about the things that have happened here. So we actually put aside some money in the budget, and we hired a consultant to help us come up with some economic development strategies. And we need to do more of that, I think. There's so much going on. The Route 1 corridor, College Park is growing. And if you drive down Route 1 now, it looks so different than it did 5 years ago. Hyattsville is just taking off. Laurel is doing a lot. Riverdale Park and New Carrollton. So my concern is if Greenbelt does not become more intentional about what it wants to attract here and really focus on that, then we just will have a difficult time continuing to attract and bring the kind of people to live here that we've always benefited from, people from NASA Goddard and the university and just people from all over. So that piece around economic development is really important, and I think I've tried to, we're focusing on that now.
I've seen you out and about town a lot at the Greenbelt Labor Day Festival and at the farmers market and riding your bike around the community. Yeah. And one of the things that I've noticed is that you're so down to earth. Considering that you've served 2 terms on the city council and now as mayor, how have you stayed so humble and so approachable?
Well, I try not to take myself too seriously. That's just the person that I am. And yeah, I do a lot of volunteer work. I do the best I can, but I'm a real person. That's right. I don't put on airs, and I take what I do seriously. And I don't really think of myself as a politician. It's more community service. It's just something that's what I've been doing with my life all my life.
I've seen that. Yeah, that's really a great thing because a lot of politicians or people who serve don't have that track record in terms of coming across as loving people and wanting to really connect in a real way, in a tangible way that's important to the people that they're serving. So that's to your credit, and I really appreciate you for that.
Well, thank you.
But what I was going to ask you is, now that you're mayor, is it easier for you to get things done or harder for you to get things done?
Well, working with a group of the 6 other individuals on city council, we all have the same powers, more or less. I'm mayor, so I convene the meetings, I set the agenda, we collectively set the budget for the city of Greenbelt. The city manager is responsible for running the day-to-day activities. So there are some policy initiatives, there's some things that I've really tried to advocate for. But I have to temper that. I mean, there are other people on council, and council is very, very stable. So Mr. Putins, Councilman Putins, has been on council for 35 years.
Wow.
And he's an amazing man. You'd never think that he'd been on council for 35 years. And I talk with him, and he he tells me that I need to be patient sometimes about getting things to happen. And it's true. If you want something really important to happen, you have to work on it. You have to build coalitions. But I have a great deal of respect for the other members on council. I've learned so much, and I count Jay Davis as a friend and a colleague, someone that I sought advice from before I got on council.
Yeah, she's wonderful, a woman I admire very much.
And really everybody on council brings a different experience and different perspective. And that's the way it's supposed to be. If you had a group of 7 people serving together on a city council and they were all the same, more or less, it really wouldn't be helpful. So we all have different personalities. We all have different things that we're passionate about, that we are willing to fight for, and we all have different skills and abilities that we bring to the table.
The work that you do outside of your job as mayor, can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I know that you're very active and involved in so many other things.
Well, yeah, being on city council, and actually when I moved here, one of the things that happened, just being interested in being a volunteer and being engaged, there's just so many things to get involved in. So I did get involved. I got involved as a volunteer first with the Urban League, the Greater Washington Urban League, and I did a lot of work with them doing voter registration drives back in, 2002, 2003. And from there, I kind of got involved in voter registration, being an election judge, during elections here in Prince George's County. And I got involved in my homeowners association, because the opportunity was there, and I really enjoy. I think that it's our obligation, to actually give back. And,
to give back.
And to be involved with things. And if you're not involved, then the things that happen around you, you can't really complain about them.
That's right.
And so I was the treasurer of my homeowners association board. I just got involved in a lot of different things in town. I served on the Community Foundation. The Greenbelt Community Foundation is a great organization here in Greenbelt, and they give out grants up to $5,000 for different community-based projects that improve the quality of life.
Really?
In fact, I think they have a grant deadline coming up in April. But they were just sort of getting off the ground, and I had all this experience in working with nonprofit organizations, doing fundraising and also writing grants and reviewing grants. So I got on that board and helped refine the process that they used to evaluate grants, and ended up co-chairing and chairing the foundation back in 2008, 2009. Also, there are all these recreational amenities. One of the reasons why I loved Greenbelt, a couple of reasons. When I was working at the university, and when I moved to Greenbrier, the gym that I worked at Bally's was like right between the university and where I live, so there's no excuse for me not stopping there and taking care of myself and working out a little bit. And so I think that's really important.
Yes, it is. As a small business owner, I can attest to that. My business has thrived. I've been, for the past 2 years, a resident at the Bowie Business Innovation Center and the College of Business. And we get to work with a lot of young people because there's this great initiative that they have called the Entrepreneurship Academy. So we mentor and we coach the students on their business ideas and help them implement strategies on just how to get it off and running. I know you do a lot of work with the young people through the Democratic Club here at Greenbelt. So what would be your best advice to someone who is looking to start a career in politics, a young person or who's interested in maybe community service? What can they do to get started for successful service? Like you.
Well, I think volunteerism is really, really important, and there's a lot of opportunities to actually get involved as a volunteer. If you're passionate, if there are issues that you care about, there are advocacy organizations that need help. But if you're interested in politics or community service, and to me it's the same thing pretty much, you should really get involved with your, if you're an independent or a Democrat or a Republican, you should get involved with the local activities. Get to know the state senators and delegates. They're always looking for internships, short-term, 3 months or 6 months. Here in Greenbelt, we have volunteers that help in a lot of different ways, and we've got these advisory boards in Greenbelt. There are about 15 different advisory boards, and there are opportunities to actually serve on those boards. And that's one of the things that sort of helped me to become more familiar with the community and at the same time do some service. So, Yeah, really getting kind of rooted in your community. If you want to get into politics or community service, it's community with a capital C. So, get to know where you are, get to know, your apartment development or your homeowners association, local civic organizations, delegates and senators and municipal government. There are lots of ways to get involved. And it's really important. If you're going to school, if you're a student, a college student or high school student, and you're interested in civics, don't just take classes. Actually get out and volunteer and kind of try it on for size and see what it's like. That's my advice to young people.
Thank you so much. That's valuable advice.
Well,
very, very valuable. When I was preparing, I was thinking about asking you questions that people would want to know, more about you and a little bit more personal stuff about you. You actually happen to be one of the city's most eligible bachelors.
Is that right?
Would you share, is there someone special in your life, or are you planning to one day settle down? For all the ladies that want to know.
Well, I'm really focused on trying to do a good job of serving as mayor and on city council. And, being on council is pretty consuming. Every Monday and Wednesday night we have meetings and work sessions, and above and beyond that, there are a lot of other external relationships that are really important. So my personal life, I love the arts. I love going to concerts. I love museums. I like being very, very active. So I play tennis as often as I can. I do bike riding. I play music. Music is something that I just love doing. So
that's right. You played at the end of year concert.
Yeah.
Last year.
Actually, for the past 2 years.
For the past 2 years?
Yeah, Councilman Herling, Conrad Herling, is a big devotee of the arts, and he's put together. The city used to have a New Year's Eve program, a watch night program that we did for a number of years over at the community center, but interest seemed to wane in that, so we stopped doing that as a city back in 2009. And Conrad Herling decided that it would be a good idea to do something, and so he kind of organized this. He plays the piano as well, so he organized a New Year's Eve program 2 years ago and this year, and he knew that I played the guitar, so he invited me to perform a bit. And
that's fantastic. I'm sure they were really impressed with you.
That was a lot of fun. I love doing it.
So triple threat: handsome, talented, and gifted.
Yeah. I just wish I had more time. But,
okay. So the answer is nobody at the moment, and you are not making time for that.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. It's just there's nobody at the moment.
Okay. You heard that, ladies. He's available.
Thank you for inviting me here to actually be on your program.
You're welcome.
It's really quite an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. The honor is ours. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
After my interview with Mayor Jordan, the crew and I decided to venture out into the community to hear what some residents and other people had to say about him. So on March 28, 2015, we attended a public event called Arbor Day in Greenbelt. Here is what they had to say.
When I think of Emmett Jordan and his leadership qualities, I think of the tremendous background that he brings to the job. I met him, I first got to know him well when he was on the Community Foundation with me, and he was a tremendous asset to that board because of his background in fundraising and volunteer organizations. And he also had a background because he was on the Greenbelt, the advisory planning board for Greenbelt, which gave him a tremendous knowledge of the city. His activism in community and volunteer activities gave him a breadth there of the needs of the community. So when he ran for the city council, he was a natural. And then I found out his background, college background, was in urban planning. So how beneficial could that be for our community? I think what he brings here, and he's a fun guy too, because he plays tennis, he plays the guitar, he's very well rounded, and that's what I think you need. But what you need more than anything else that he brings to the job is he listens more than he talks. And he listens, he's thoughtful, And I think he brings a great deal to Greenbelt, and we're very, very lucky to have him as our mayor.
Mr. Jordan, Emmett Jordan, has been a joy and an interesting person to work with, and I've always felt that he's been very interested in the citizens and the community of Greenbelt. So that's the kind of person we like to have serving on City Council. I consider him the first among equals as the mayor, and that's about it.
My name is Katie Podensky, and
I'm Kirsten Riders.
And we're from FEMA Corps, AmeriCorps, Team Ocean 1. And we came out today to Arbor Day to help support the community of Greenbelt and help with planting of trees and invasive species removal. And we were pretty impressed with the mayor and his speech, and we feel like they have a pretty big commitment to trees and Arbor Day and keeping the community environmentally safe.
My name is Natalie Tran. I'm a student at the University of Maryland, and I'm here today with myself and other students. We're part of the same pledge class for a professional fraternity. Being here today was a really good opportunity for us to pay attention to one of our core values, which is service, but then also because I myself am from Howard County, Maryland, but not all of us are from the area, let alone Maryland. Some of us are from New Jersey or Pennsylvania. So this was just a really great opportunity to learn more about what's in our neighborhood beyond what's on the college campus. And it was really interesting because we weren't expecting the mayor to be here today. So it really just shows how well this community comes together.
Just as historic as his rise in politics is, we on the Mary Harrington Show are so delighted in enjoying this historic moment, having had the opportunity to speak and interview Mayor Emmett Jordan, the city's first African-American mayor in its 77-year history. Mayor Jordan is a dynamic personality, the people's mayor, talented and interesting, and we are so delighted. Thank you so much for staying tuned. We hope that you'd come back again in the future as we broadcast our schedule and showtimes. Thank you very much.